I have a confession to make. The title is a lie. FL Studio is not the best DAW. But before you lock me up and charge me with the crimes of clickbait, let me explain. So yeah, in 2025, FL Studio is not the best DAW. But the only reason for that is because there's not really such thing as the best DAW anymore. The truth is, all of the big softwares that you can make music on your computer, whether it's Ableton or FL Studio or Pro Tools or Logic or Reaper, they're all capable of doing pretty much the same thing. They can all record audio, they can all use MIDI, they can all do everything. They're all good with mixing. Because at this point, they've all kind of caught up to each other. But each one has its kind of thing that it's better at than the others. For example, I think Pro Tools is the best if you're recording live instruments, at least out of the ones I've used. But this video is, yes, I don't think FL Studio is the objective best DAW, but I'm going to show you why I haven't had the thought of changing at all. Ever since I downloaded it 5 years ago, 7 years ago if you want to count when I had FL Studio Mobile. Yeah, this is my favorite things about this software and why I still use it and don't plan to change anytime soon. So first of all, this I feel very strongly about. The piano roll in FL Studio is a million times better than it is in any other DAW, and I will fight you on this. First of all, in most other DAWs, you have to switch some thing up here to even make it so that you can just click like this. Like on GarageBand, you have to unlock it, or otherwise you have to double click to place a note, and I think it's the same way on Logic. Although you could check me on that. I haven't used Logic in a long time. Pro Tools. The Pro Tools piano roll is fucking primitive. I actually hate using it. FL Studios is, and it has all these other features too. You go up here. I made the video about the strummer tool, although I wouldn't be surprised if that exists elsewhere. But you can change the color of notes. There's just so many different things you can do in the FL Studio piano roll, and I feel like it's the most usable out of any of them. So that's my first thing. Next is automation clips. So automation, the thing that moves things for you during a song. All you have to do in FL Studio, let's say you want to automate this fader, you just go here, you right click, and then create automation clip. It's that simple. And even if you have a third-party plugin open, let me open Vital real quick. In other DAWs, in Pro Tools, for example, you would have to go into the settings of this, and there'd be a huge menu, and you'd have to move certain parameters over to a list for Pro Tools to recognize it, and then you'd have to go over here, and on Pro Tools, it has this thing on the side where you can change to deciding to automate. In FL Studio, all you have to do is move a knob and then go up here and you can do automation for last, add automation for last tweak parameter, and now you can affect this. So I really like the way automation works in FL Studio too. I think it's way simpler, way less of a hassle. And then the actual interface of the automation is easy, but all of them, that's just kind of muscle memory at that point. Next thing is, I talked about this in a previous video, is CPU usage. Up here, this tells you how much CPU you're using, and I think FL Studio handles CPU well. My computer is not very new. It's from it's a mid-range chip from 2019 or something. And for the most part, I don't have issues. Now, if you want to go hear me talk more in depth about CPU, there's that previous video I did. So, you can hear me talk more in depth about it. But if you go up, there's a ton of settings you can change. It's very flexible. And I bet all the DAWs have this. But I think, the example I have is, this is a Vital patch, right? Vital, there's a lot going on here. If pick a note, let me do this real quick. Oh, come on, open. There we go. If you go unison, turn this up. Moving this around, because it's 50, you can see up there that it spiked a little bit. If I tried doing that in Pro Tools, it crashed. Every time I would try in Pro Tools, it would crash. And the computer systems that I was using Pro Tools on are so much nicer than my computer. So I think that's just down to how FL Studio handles MIDI. I think it handles MIDI better than Pro Tools. And this goes back into, I would use Pro Tools if I'm mixing a live thing, if I want to record live instruments. FL Studio is if I'm producing beats or something. I think it's the best. And that's usually what I'm doing at home because I don't have live instruments here. So that's CPU. Next thing I have on here is signal flow. I like the way signal flow works in FL Studio. You've showed me all the videos I've done on parallel compression, sends. all you have to do is just click on this, and now it's sending to here. And then this knob adjusts the signal that you're sending into this track. And then if you want to remove it from the master mix bus, you just click here. It's kind of weird because if you're used to using a software like Pro Tools is formatted in a way that's very intuitive for people who have used SSL consoles before. It's basically just the digital version of an SSL console. FL Studio is very, very different. It's weird. But I think it's more intuitive for people who don't have experience with that. And it's not like it's hard to learn, you know? All you have to do is think, okay, if I'm creating a reverb sound, I don't have to create the track. It's just here. And then I just click on it and then put the reverb plugin on and then make it 100% mix. So Signal Flow, I think is great. Last point I want to touch on here is just ImageLine as a company. You know, usually I'm not going to like go out of my way to like praise a company, but ImageLine, I just like the fact that when you buy FL Studio, you know, if you get the producer version, depending on when you get it, it's like 140 to 180 bucks. You truly own the software. You get it for life. You don't have to buy a perpetual license like you do in Pro Tools. And every time you do that, it's fucking expensive as hell. Like, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not going to say the number here because I can't think of it off the top of my head. You just buy the software once. You know, it's not, I get it, like 140 to 180. That's a lot of money. But you pay it once and then you own the software. Every update they have, even though I look up here, I have a version that I haven't even downloaded yet, is free. If you buy the software, and it's great. And I really like the way ImageLine handles FL Studio. They also have a lot of tutorials on their channel talking about how to use the software. Obviously not like paid by them to say this. I just like it. And honestly, you know, to kind of wrap this video up, if like FL Studio wasn't, you had to buy it every time a new update came out, I would fucking not be using it, because as great of a software as it is, and I touched on those other points that make me love using it, just real basic stuff, the fact that once you buy it, you don't have to worry about spending, because music production is an expensive hobby. You have to pay for plugins, you have to pay for headphones, speakers, the DAW itself. Like, the last thing you want, and if you're an audio engineer, you have to buy microphones and all the XLR cables, audio, like all this shit. It's expensive, you know? I love doing it, but it's expensive. The last thing I want to do is spend a bunch of money on my DAW. So that's why I'm happy that I don't have to worry about it anymore. So that's kind of all I have, just some reasons why I like FL Studio. But again, most people will tell you the best DAW is the one they started on. FL Studio just happens to be the one I started on. But they all have their little pros and cons. I don't make videos in other ones because I don't feel like I have enough knowledge about other DAWs. The only other one I use semi-regularly is Pro Tools when I'm at the studio. So yeah, that's kind of all I got. See ya.